All right, guys, we are here. Real Talk Tuesday. You know what I need you guys to do if you're listening and you can hear my voice, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let us know that you can hear us clearly, first of all, and then share to somebody. We got a lot to talk about this evening. Uh, Mayor, it's been
a couple of
yeah.
weeks. Seemed longer, huh?
Yeah, well, no, these Tuesdays seem like they just be dropping on top of each other.
I know we may have to move this thing to bi-weekly, but it's always good. So again, I'm excited about the guests we have on tonight.
Oh man,
and things we're going to be talking about. I think it's going to be enlightening to our audience, and so looking forward to those conversations.
And man, I'm not going to sit here and take the role of because I've been accused of taking down some pastors in politics and all this other stuff. But this conversation tonight, it is divinely inspired because of the fact that we're going to have these families coming together for Thanksgiving here, very shortly. And I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and safe travels to everybody that's coming home and going wherever you're going for Thanksgiving. But this conversation is probably the number one conversation that needs to be had around that dinner table this weekend. So I look forward to this, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our first guest, okay? Because we got two guests tonight. We do have the artist on board tonight. Mr. Dominique Adams is in the building. So
Sure.
I want you guys to again share, and you will be able to talk to the artist later on. We'll get to that, but first, let's get to what we're here for today. Our guest coming up her name is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. She's a lifelong educator, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist who has dedicated her life to improving the lives of others through her work in the field of occupational safety and health. She spent over 25 years in both the public and private sector, including faculty appointments at multiple institutions of higher education, and 8 years at the U.S. Department of Labor. Dr. Williams is also a successful businesswoman with a passion for entrepreneurship and has founded several business entities, including 4 real estate investment firms, a real estate management company, and an ergonomics consulting. She's gonna have to tell me what that is off the top. Ergonomic consulting and design firm. She's a trailblazer personally and professionally. Dr. Williams is a member of an elite group of Blacks who have the distinction of earning a doctorate degree in engineering and is only the second person to achieve this honor in the state of Mississippi. When she completed her doctoral program at Mississippi State University in 2001, and I kind of butchered that, but without further ado, here she is, Dr. Sabrina Williams. Welcome to Andrews, the podcast, ma'am. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me. It is my honor to be here.
All right, guys. So Dr. Sabrina is again, you heard the bio. So she has a strong foundation in education. She has a book on Amazon. So I need you guys to go to Amazon right now and look at this book. Look up this book, because by the end of this conversation, you're gonna go ahead and match this conversation with that book. You'll already have it ordered by the end of the conversation. But tell us a little bit about your book and what inspired you to get into what does the title mean? Learning to Trust.
Well, before I tell you that, let me tell you a little bit about me, okay? Since you messed up my bio. So my name is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. I am an author and an investor. I'm opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so happy to be here with you tonight. We are going to be discussing, as you say, a very important topic. And you have this podcast titled Protecting Your Legacy: How Trust Can Save Your Family from Future Feuds. For me, I have spent, as you say, most of my life educating other people. So I know that I am doing what God has called me to do. I know for certain that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this season of my life. So I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory about how this book actually came to be. And that's going to, once I tell you this, it'll make sense why I chose the title, Learning to Trust. So about 4 years ago, just go back with me and think about what we were dealing with as a nation and really throughout the world. We had a pandemic that was really just devastating all of us, our families. People were going to the hospital with every expectation of going home. And that did not happen in many instances. Many people died. And I know some of my listeners tonight, some of our audience had family members that likely passed on during the pandemic. One of the things that I did during that time for me personally was some soul searching about myself and the state of my life, my finances, whether I had my home in order, my house in order, my business in order, as the old folks say. You know, do you have your affairs in order? And sadly, the answer to that question was no. I can be very transparent right here with you tonight. The answer to that question was no. I did not have things in order. And so the idea of seeking out information, education on asset protection, legacy building, all of those things found a place in my mind, a place in my heart 4 years ago. Unfortunately, Jamal, I didn't act on it. And I can be, again, transparent with you. I did not do what I needed to do. It took 3 years and a situation that almost cost me most of the things that I had spent my life working for. I found myself in some legal trouble. And then I had a flashback. If only I had taken the time back during the pandemic to do what I needed to do. So I spent about a year, a little over a year, actually learning. You know, sometimes we educate ourselves, we go, and you might say, well, Dr. Williams, wasn't 8 years enough education for you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm a lifelong learner, and I encourage your listening audience, if you're not, to become lifelong learners. So I took about a year and I started studying asset protection, particularly trust. And we're going to talk about why that method a little bit later and throughout the show. But that's where the title came from, because that was the method of protection that I studied for over a year.
Okay, and you use asset protection with trust. Can you tell us a little bit? Give us an idea of what that what that vehicle, what that trust, what is that? What is the
Okay, so when we start talking about estate planning, most of us, especially in the Black community, okay, we talking to Black folks tonight, aren't we, Mayor?
Well, I'm talking to all of them, because here's what I will say. And I appreciate you again. Welcome to Andrew's podcast, and again, as Jamal stated, this is a very important topic for conversation, especially having recently experienced some things that we'll probably talk about tonight. Not and so I would say that predominantly, just in my experience in our community, we don't plan for the worst. We don't plan for the end. And so then when we we all know we don't control when we leave this world.
True.
And so then once that happens, then the people that are closest to you are greatly affected.
Mm-hmm.
And there's decisions have to be made, which should have been made through some legal document that have everything clear. So that's one aspect of it. And what the other part, and I haven't read your book yet, and I'm certainly will. The other part of that is, how do we plan? Where's that generational, that wealth? How do we pass that down through our kids and family? How do we, this generational wealth? And I think we'll get into some of that tonight. So a lot of things when it comes down to detailed planning for the future, we don't do as well as we should. But I would say, I'm sure it's just not in the Black community.
Right.
But it's
just
ma'am, go ahead.
What I want to say is, when you look at this book, it's titled Learning to Trust, a Black Family's Guide for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. This book was written specifically to Black people because, as you say, we typically don't do well with estate planning and succession planning in our community. However, it is not written exclusively, because when we talk about estate planning, everything in here can be applied to any community. But I want to really, really encourage the Black families, those people that look like me, to really think about what I am saying. And the reason why I say that is because statistically, only about 30% of Black individuals even have a will. That's the document that most of our community is familiar with, a will. So what is a will? Okay, let's think about that. A will basically tells what you want to happen once you pass on. So if you have, possessions, a lot of times people may have, homes, cars, maybe a little money. Those are the things that they may specify in their will that they want to be passed on to others. Now, that's a good start. And most people are familiar when you say a will, they're familiar with that document. However, what we're not really clear on is what the limitations of the will are and what the alternatives are to the will. So one of the questions that I get asked often is, well, should I have a will or should I have a trust? And what's the difference? Well, the question is, what you should have really depends on what it is that you are trying to do. And you need to understand the limitations of just the will. So if you had a will, that's a good start, I would say. That is a good start. Okay. But you have to understand that a will has to go through a process called probate. And probate, basically, I'm going to make this as simple as I can. So let's say you die and you die owing people. So you have a mortgage, you have a car payment, you have credit cards, you owe people. Probate is that process that announces to the world, this individual is no longer here. If you are entitled to some money, if you are owed, we need to let you know this person is not here, and you need to go ahead and make a claim. Put forth your claim. We're going to seize this person's, assets, basically. We're going to see what they have, and we're going to divide it up and try to get everybody paid out of what's there, right? So that's what we have to be mindful of, that process called probate. Probate can be a very lengthy process, and it can be a very expensive process. So you have to think about who's involved with probate. Okay, you have attorneys that are involved, you have judges that are involved. These people, as we know, don't work for free. Okay, so let's think big picture of some people that we are familiar with in our community that had wills but had to go through probate. So think about a recent case, Aretha Franklin. Everybody familiar with Aretha? Queen of Soul, right? She was our queen. Aretha died, and do you guys remember what happened when she died? Remember, they were finding copies of, the will stuffed in between the cushions on the couch, and they had another copy of the will somewhere else, a previous copy. So now the family is as you say, we talk about these family feuds. So the family is feuding. Which, copy of the will is valid? Which one is more recent? This person got written into this will. This person did not get written into this version of the will. So that's one of the things that you really have to think about when you talk about a will.
And that's important, because you you would think, oh, I'm covered, I got a will that's all encompassing, but you don't factor in what you just said, and because you just enlightened me and thinking and understanding that, that's just, there's limitations to it, is you know what I mean? It serves its purpose, but then it's limited. But go ahead, Doc.
Okay, so go back to what I said about myself at the beginning, how I got on the pathway of asset protection. It was because I was in a legal situation. A will does not provide asset protection. So, for example, I'm going to give you an everyday example, and this is a true example. I have a girlfriend that was involved in a car accident about a year ago. She was driving down the highway just like people do all the time on the interstate. The person in front of her swerved to miss something that was in the highway. Of course, her jerk reaction was to swerve as well. Well, when she did that, she caused an accident. Okay. In that accident, there were people that were injured. Now, you might say, well, isn't that what insurance is for? In some states, most states, you're required. Insurance coverage is mandated, liability anyway. Well, yes, she did have insurance. And yes, her insurance did cover, but you have to remember that there are limits on what insurance will cover. So think about that. A lot of times we don't think about the wording that are in these documents that we sign. So sometimes it may say, it'll cover up to, this limit, 100,000 per accident, So in her case, the people that were involved in the accident decided that they did not want to accept what the insurance coverage would provide. So they in turn sued her. They're suing her right now. Okay. So when we talk about asset protection, in that instance, Jamal, what good would a will do you? She's not dead. Think about what I'm saying.
I got you.
So we have to understand what these documents do and what they don't do. A will only goes into effect when you die. Life happens when you are alive.
So what are some of the protections that the trust offers?
Okay, so before I answer that question, I think we're kind of putting the cart in front of the horse.
Okay.
Let's talk about what a trust is. And I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible. And I even have one of my trusts in right here so that people can understand, because I don't want us to complicate things. A lot of times we don't move on things because we don't understand and we overcomplicate things. So a trust really is basically an agreement. It's a written agreement between three parties. Okay. The grantor, that's the person who is putting their assets into the trust. Okay. Second party will be the trustee. That's the person or the entity who is given the responsibilities for overseeing the trust or the assets in the trust. And then you have the beneficiary. Those are the individuals who will benefit from the assets that are in the trust. So it's that simple. It's just basically a document with all your information inside of this that tells everything that you want to happen with the things that you have, whether that's your home, your cars, your bank accounts, your insurance policies, any assets, your real estate, your business entities, whatever you have. All of this information is in one place, okay? And you basically transfer title of those things, your home, your car, your business entities, whatever you have, to the trust. Now, and I talk about that very, very clearly in the book.
That you guys can find on Amazon. Go to Amazon right now.
So let me just interject there. Mm-hmm. The e-copy, for those people that are e-readers, the e-copy is on Amazon. The physical copy of the book can only be obtained in two ways. Either by visiting my website, and you may want to put this in the chat so that your readers have access to it. Visiting my website, it's www.iamsewnoted.co. I am so noted.co. Okay. Visiting my website or at one of my live events. You can get copies of the book as well. But we break it down for you. We use a lot of everyday examples to help you understand what we are saying when we talk about a trust and what a trust is and why you need to in terms of asset protection. If that's your goal, and you have to be clear on what your goal is. If your goal is to protect your assets, then you want to put them inside of a trust. Now, what a trust is going to do is going to transfer, quote unquote, ownership of those assets to the trust itself. But it does not necessarily transfer control of those things to someone else. There is a difference. So my question is, would you rather own something or would you rather control? And I think I'm going to just be 100 with our audience right here. I think that's one of the things that has hurt our community, the Black community, in a lot of ways, because we have been taught that we have to own everything. You know, I want to own my own home. I want to own my own car. I want to own. But there are some benefits to simply being able to control things and not own them.
All right, so here's just let's have a conversation real quick here. The bottom line is that death is inevitable. Mm-hmm. And I think when we talk about the African American community, we don't like to talk about dying.
Right.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die.
And so the reality is that if man's born, he's going to die. We're going to leave here at some point in time. And the purpose really tonight is trying to get after is for us to now open up and start to have this conversation, because once you move on to wherever your destination is, there's your survivors are left here to try to figure out what to do. As you were just talking about, Dr. Williams, your assets and then the debt. That's not just like someone is sitting there with all this money and don't have any debt. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some things that have to get paid off. And so these folks want their money. And they're going to get it one way or the other, whether it's through probate or however it gets down to it. And so it's simply what we want to get across to everyone, to include myself. Sometimes you don't, again, I'm one of them. I know, hey, I've got a lot to do. I'm going to be here to get these things done. And then, I don't control when I leave here. And so this experience that I'm currently dealing with, has taught me, yes, you need to get things in writing. People need to understand what it is that you have or don't have, mm-hmm. and where it's going to go. And so we can minimize, again, a lot of friction, because it breaks up a lot of families. Okay. It separates us to a point where we no longer speak to each other. We can be sitting in the same, it just destroys, because for some reason, material things become the most important thing in our lives when someone leaves this world. And just because you are close to someone doesn't mean that you have been written into any will or any, that you have any rights to anything that's left behind. Life goes on. So then for us now that we're here and we can have this conversation, it is vitally important that we clarify things before we leave here.
And Mary, I want to say, because a lot of times in the Black community, we are people of faith. We are people of faith. We worship, we believe, and I want to just appeal to my people of faith to think about something on a whole different level, a spiritual level. Everything that we have been given, we've been blessed with, has been entrusted to our care. We are called to be good stewards of what we have. And part of stewardship is definitely taking care of the things that we have been entrusted with, but also being a good steward to the end. Being a good steward to the end and at the end. So when you go back and you look even biblically at examples that you have in the Bible, people didn't just let things happen. They made plans. They made plans for what would happen. Go back and look at Jacob. He had the 12 sons. And I'm just going to be honest with my people tonight. We know our children. If you have more than one, you know them. You raised them. You know your kids. You know which one is responsible. You know which one is going to handle business. You know which one is wayward. You know this. And so to say, well, I'm just going, I'm going to let everybody have an equal share or this and the other, that may not be the best thing to do in many instances. And I'm going to tell you why. What we deal with oftentimes in our community is a situation, a term I've heard all my life, heirs property. Okay, I got to laugh there and a head nod. So I'm on your street, on your pew, as the preacher would say. I'm on your pew. Heirs property. I've heard it all my life. I have it in my family on both sides. I got two hands up. Okay?
That's right.
And the thing about it is, when I thought about it and I started writing this book, I said, my grandparents did the best that they could with the knowledge that they had. Amen. These people were literally probably 3 generations removed from slavery. It's a wonder they were able to get their hands on anything. So they did the best that they could. And they left things to us as heirs property. But here's the thing. We have gotten educated. We've gotten educated. We've got knowledge. And so when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And so now we know better. There's no reason for us to continue leaving property as heirs property. Now, why would you say that, Dr. Williams? I'm glad you asked me, Mr. Jamal, because as the mayor just said, it causes friction in families. It causes a lot of friction in families. Okay. So the thing that's baffling to me, the thing that is so baffling to me is how can people who were not educated, in my case, my grandfather had a 5th grade education. My grandmother had a 11th grade education, but they were able to rear 8 children, 9 with the one that they adopted. Okay. They reared them in a house, a home. They were able to get a home, built a home. My mother told me that they built a home at a time when many families did not do that. Got a hold of a hotov. That's what old folks say, a hotov, 40 acres of land, and they were able to pass that on to their heirs. Now you have those of us, and it's a whole lot of us now because you had 8 kids and then they multiplied. So you have all of us now. The thing that's always baffling is how do you have that situation and people continue to lose property because they won't pay property taxes, They won't take care of Big Mama's house, but everybody wants to stay there. You know, here we are Thursday. Everybody be gathering at Big Mama's house, Amadia's house. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, but we will not.
You're right on it.
We will not do what is necessary to maintain the property. And so we find ourselves in situations where oftentimes we end up losing what was the very foundation that we should have been building wealth on. So we've got to start some conversations. And Thursday will be a good time since we will be gathered together to start these conversations.
Doc, you said something that I've been saying. I say it a little more lively, but the point is the same. You know, the people we came from, with their limited, they were so uneducated that they were able to secure this generational wealth you hear people talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the more education we get, it seems like the dumber we get. You know, there's a saying that runs around West Andrews over there: free school, dumb ends.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, yeah, you said it. But go ahead, Mayor.
So and again, I know, and here's what I said, because this is such a broad topic that it deserves another segment. To be
Absolutely,
honest, we need to break this down and focusing on. We're just kind of, you know, giving this one over the world kind of a view of a real issue. The other part of this thing is that, you know, individually, are you planning to leave here? When I say that, then do you have any life insurance?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then if you die, you don't have this thing. Again, that's a burden back on the survivor.
Spoke with a lady the other day. She's probably watching right now. She just buried her brother. Brother, healthy as a horse, 40 years old, dropped dead, not a lick of insurance.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time talking about voting and those things. That's important, you know, and we don't have a great showing in that respect either. But then when we start talking about issues like this, is just as important. So it's a lot of different things we need to talk about and become more comfortable with. And this, I can't think of anything else right now that's more important to ensure that everybody understands that this destroys. And I know if you've been on this earth more than, you know, a decade, you know the impact.
It does, Mayor. And I want to just say, even with writing this book, I didn't look at anybody else's family and anybody else's examples. I started in my own family. And what I have found in traveling this country, in traveling this state, in talking to individuals, my family and our drama and our dynamics are not very different from the Black families in general. They are the same. And so for those individuals, when we talk about estate planning and succession planning, you will have people that will say, well, you know, I don't really have a lot in terms of assets, so I don't know why I should even bother with any of this. Well, let me help you. Let me just help you. Let's go back to where I started, COVID. Okay. So many people went to the hospital and decisions had to be made. Life and death decisions had to be made. Okay. They didn't have family available because we couldn't go to the hospital with our loved ones. A lot of times we had to send them. And so having a simple piece of paper called a healthcare directive that lets medical providers know what your wishes are. That is part of estate planning as well, making sure that those things are in place. And that matters. It matters for the single mom that has 3 or 4 kids. What needs to be done? What happens to your children once you are not here? We have issues with the foster care system here in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm sure there as well. You know, so these are things that people really need to talk about and start to think through. I had a situation in my own family. My mother's baby sister died in a car accident at 36 years old. She had a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old. Those, as you say, one life may end, but there is life after death. And we have to keep that in mind. And I'm so glad you made the segue, Mayor, into life insurance. Okay. In the book, that's chapter 10. We talk about that. We have got to rethink that in our community. We have got to start rethinking that. I just sat in a room back in October, a conference, and I was in the minority. Let's just say that. When I'm listening to the conversation that other communities are having, they are taking life insurance and using it to build wealth. Whereas in our community, a lot of times we'll say, and I talk about this in the book, and I put my own mama on blast. She's 75, but her thinking was shaped by something.
Absolutely.
This concept of, well, I got enough burial insurance to put me in the ground. Okay, well, it's going to put you in the ground, but what about that life that's left here behind you? As you say, we already know we're not here to stay, but there are people that are left behind after us that we can start using these different wealth building tools if we understand them, if we allow ourselves. And you know what's interesting? When you look at our community, the Black community, I'm gonna stay on us for just a minute, Mayor. I need to bring it home to us.
I'm good with you because I'm gonna take what I learned from you and I'm gonna share with everybody.
We have at our disposal 1.3 trillion with a T, dollars of buying power annually. Not once in a lifetime. Every year we are spending $1.3 trillion we're putting into this economy. So you mean to tell me that with that much buying power, we do not have the ability to start building wealth? I will never believe it. I will never believe it. That's too much money and too much buying power. But what we will do, we will get sucked in. And many of us won't have the conversation on Thursday with our families because our mind is on leaving the dinner table, going to the pre-Black Friday sale. That's where our thinking is. And we have got to shift that thinking if we are ever to start building wealth, to have some wealth to protect and transfer. So that, there's a mindset shift that is going to have to happen within our community. We have what we need in our hands. It's just that we don't really, really understand how to use what's in our hands.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of healing and a lot of unity. If you want to talk specifically about the African American community, some things we got to figure out now, and Jamal and I would talk. How do we package this conversation so then have you and others who are experts in this thing to help us understand what the struggle is? And I'll even go back to, and it's not that far removed, this election and the things that we try to make this election to be about, and our thinking when it comes down to women in power. Why is that such a bad thing? Why can't? So it's a lot of things we have to really, come to grips with. And so then I think a lot of what you're saying right now, in my opinion, is that it's a lack of trust and confidence, and we're too easily to be distracted or manipulated to do something that is not conducive to us. And we got to have that conversation. But in terms of tonight, I really appreciate you coming on, and this opens this conversation. And I encourage those that are listening, who will hear this thing after we yes, sir.
One second, because I want to send everybody to get that book, and I started typing it in. It's www.imsew noted NOTED. And what's the end of that?
.co. C is in cat. CO.
Gotcha. And I need you guys to go over there. What did I just type?
And so while you're doing that, I want to share something else with the audience. And I want to just make a point here. I appreciate all of the support that has been shown to me through this journey, because I truly believe that God has me on this journey for a reason. I am not on here tonight trying to sell a book. I really am not. I would appreciate the support. I think God gave me this to give to his people, to give them a guide. A lot of times we can't do things because we don't know how to do them. So I have laid it out in here for you. The hard conversation, how to start the conversation with your family is here. Now for us, my family, the proceeds from the sale of this book are being donated to charity, because we realize we've got to put money back into our community. Nobody is coming to save us. We have the ability to do that ourselves. And so in supporting this work, you are supporting community. That's what we are trying to do with this book. So one of the things I want to do is encourage you to buy the book and then rise. What am I talking about? Rise, R-I-S-E. Read the book. That's the R. Buy it. Don't just buy it because it sounds good, but buy it and read it. It's like the Bible. If you never open it up, if you never read it, you can't expect it to have any type of transformation on your life. So read the information. It's not hard to read. It is not. I wrote it so that a fourth or fifth grader could really read this book and understand it. Okay, read it. Then I implement. It does you no good to read something, see yourself, and then do nothing about it. So if that means getting some life insurance because you don't have any, do it. If that means getting a will because you don't have one, do it. If that means getting a trust, right? Getting your healthcare directive, getting your banking matters in order, do it. Read it, implement. Then S, share. Thursday is a good time to share. Share things with your family. In our community, oftentimes we are very, very private people, but we can also be very secretive. And that's what gets us in trouble a lot of times, the secrets. You know, we didn't know anything about daddy had another child, another family, another this. All of that impacts all of us. So we need to start sharing information, and we have to share because we got to educate these kids. You know, we can leave them Big Mama's house, but we need to teach them, if you don't pay the property taxes on the house, they're going to come take the house. Share. And then E, encourage other people to support what we are trying to do. This is a life work. This is a ministry. This is not a hustle. This is a life's work for me. I do this. I travel places for free. I go for free because this is that important to me. And I feel like this is that important for my community. To he who much is given, much is required. And so we are compelled, we're reaching out, and we are really, really hoping that you hear what we are saying. We appreciate this opportunity to be here in South Carolina. I would have never imagined that I would be speaking to people in South Carolina. I've never even traveled to South Carolina.
Oh, man, we got to get you. Yeah.
All I need is an invite. I'm there.
Wait a minute. This is the fastest growing state of the United States.
Yes, sir.
We have the best beaches here. We have the best big cities. And you just wait till you come to Andrews. Now you're going to be blown away. But no, you need to come to South Carolina. This is a great state. All right.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let me fix that. I take that back. I've been to Hilton Head Island. I've been there one time.
All right.
One time.
You're inside the boundary. Just come on, keep moving up north.
Okay.
Come and see us. We'd love to have you here.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to have this opportunity. I hope that it is clear. I don't know if we were going to take any questions from the audience, but as I said, let's not complicate this, and let's not let this make it, let's not be stagnant. That's what I want to say. Because, oh my God, where do I start? Start the conversation. I was in the bank just last week, and a young man was trying to access his mother's money. She passed in October. Nobody was on her banking information. So I know for us, a lot of times, I ain't putting nobody's name on my bank account. Them kids not going to clean out my bank account. You don't have to list them on your account as a joint owner of the account, but you do need to have their names on the account. Should something happen to you, who's going to get the money? Would you rather the people at the bank keep it or your family have it? They may just need the money in the bank account to bury you. Come on, people. We got to do better.
I'll tell you what. I would, and I'm encouraging. I will purchase the book probably tonight. And what I would ask of you, if you will, we won't take question tonight because we have another guest in the green room. But what I would like to do is come back, if it's okay with our host here.
Oh, I'm already like, listen, I'm trying to figure out. I gotta get Miss. It's Tuesday night, a good night for you, because we
maybe a separate night. We don't know.
I mean, and it's because we can record it and then post it at night, but we need you to unpack that, because the thing is normalizing these conversations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I heard somebody say one time about the insurance thing, and they looked at it as if, well, you have to put a seed in the ground for something to grow, right? And that's how they look at it. And so this one but yeah, you need to come back more than one time, more than two times, because the conversation again, and I want to pair that with because I reached out, and how I came across Dr. Williams is I reached out on this site, personal conversations we were having about wills, and I asked her if anybody do what. She was like, well, I don't do the wills, but I got something for you, bro. And so she reached out, we linked up, and here she is. And so I greatly appreciate you. Jackson, Mississippi. What's up, Jackson? We'll be out there. No, but you are definitely welcome to Andrews. We got to get you down that way. The only person we really underpay is our mayor, $600 a month. You know what I mean? But we do a little bit.
I'm actually working on my travel schedule for 2025. I have really just kind of winding down for 2024 so I can ramp up for 2025, because we are trying to do some educational things here in the community as well. We're going to be putting on some conferences here and just really working to educate the people and help all of us to be better stewards of our money. So let's get together. We'll look at your schedule. We'll look at mine. And if the mayor will welcome me to the city, I will be there.
The doors are wide open. Come on down.
Heritage Festival.
But I will say this to our listeners as we wrap up. Purchase the book, because I believe that this is, as I listened to you as you went through kind of highlighting the chapters in it, I think this is a great icebreaker to begin the conversation with your family on different things. And so then out of that will come questions, and I'm sure that you will entertain questions even through your email or whatever contacts you have here through your website. But we want to come back and then share those things, and we'll have some prepared questions as people share questions with Jamal and myself, and then come back and then address them directly, because I know there's a lot of questions out there. And then maybe we'll have an attorney with us the next time,
right? And
then have a full-fledged, down home, conversation. We got to talk about it, because I know it's difficult for me to think about losing, anybody in the family, my father, and it's not always the elder that leaves first.
That's true.
So there's a lot of things to think about. So again, we appreciate you. It's a pleasure meeting you and speaking with you tonight. And we will be talking. I'm thinking next week we can probably, or whenever you're available, Jamal, you coordinate that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are available next week, we definitely want you. Okay. So
I am. We can. I can come back. Just let me know when you need me.
And what would drive that is the feedback we get from the people, and then if they reach you directly, then share that with us, and then we'll be able to package our conversation specifically to those things that are most important to the people.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much for allowing a little old girl from straight out of Prentice, Mississippi, but via Pearl, Mississippi, be with you tonight in Andrews, South Carolina.
It's a small town takeover, baby.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
All right. Oh man, that was awesome right there. That's right there. And listen, guys, go to the website. You see it right there. www.iamsonoted.co. Because the reality is, when you look around that dinner and the dinner tables tomorrow, somebody's gonna have the thought, man, we ain't gonna have too many more of them with granddad or grandma, whoever those people are. Like you said, it's not always the old people that go first.
Not always. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was a string of young folks, man, between the age of 40, 50 that was just leaving. And it wasn't just COVID. It was you're dying of health issues, accident, whatever the case may be. It is a time that we got to look at this real life situation differently. And again, at 61 years old, I learned a lot through this personal experience. Tonight was very informative talking to Dr. Williams, and we just got to make it happen, man, because it's the best thing to do. It's the right thing to do for your survivors.
All right, so we get ready to segue into our next guest. It's been topic of conversation in Andrews, South Carolina. You guys see it there. There's the mural. Beautiful piece of art. I have to say I haven't been there yet, but over this holiday in a couple of days, I'll definitely be down there to
man, you're missing a masterpiece. And I'll say this before you bring the artist on. I had the pleasure of meeting him on a couple of occasions. Saw the work ongoing, didn't go by, and I also wanted to meet the owner of the building. Because again, you're just bringing business to the town, and we appreciate, especially when we attract business owners outside of the town. And so I was very fortunate to catch both of them there a couple of nights ago, and so and up close to see this work is amazing, and to hear the story. So Mr. Dominic Adams, young man, and I think he has some roots in Myrtle Beach, certainly in Atlanta, and so he's come here and brought his talents here through no efforts of mine or anybody locally. It's just that this talented young man came here, and along with the business owner, and then they blessed the town with something I believe that is very, very accurate in terms of how it's laid out, and it's a conversation. Obviously, it's a conversation, please, because I've seen some of the comments, and again, you will have different opinion, but what we need to do is again appreciate the mastery of this artwork here, and I'll let him tell you how he got it done and what was his vision coming into it and how this thing came about. And we're very grateful for him. So we have tonight with us Mr. Dominic Adams, the artist, and his work is, you can see, probably across America. Welcome to Andrews' podcast, sir. Got you on mute.
Got you on mute, sir.
Sorry about that, but thanks for having me on here. It means a lot. I love to see what you guys are talking about. I'd like to say on what y'all are talking about. That's awesome. I think it's really important what she was talking about, because whenever I was growing up, we didn't really have much, and nobody had a plan for anything. And my dad died at 48, and now I'm trying to learn everything she was just talking about. So I learned a couple things, and it's important that people are learning that. But this is just awesome. This is awesome. Thanks for having me here.
And what I didn't say that was probably more important than his work there is that this man is a devout Christian man, and he's a man of God. We had a conversation beyond what this piece of work has done. and we even had prayer out there on the ground.
Amen. Amen.
So, that's to me is the true soul of this young man. And again, you see his work, but beyond that, he's a man of God. And so again, we appreciate you, sir. And, tell us a little bit about how this whole, Jamal, I don't want to get ahead of you, because I know you got a lot of questions. You haven't seen it yet. I've seen it up front, but we want to know the origin of this thing, so
but first, tell us a little bit about yourself, Dominic, about the artist himself. Like, just tell us a little bit about your background. You said about your dad, dying early, and just tell us about, how you came about kind of becoming an artist and that whole thing.
Well, I grew up in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, right on the park in Main Street, right by the beach. And, growing up, like my grandmother, she was an artist. I grew up in and out of her house, and my mom was the second of 11. So there was like all kinds of people that were artists and, musicians. My uncle, he's a Christian musician. I don't know if you guys know the song "What a Savior" by Laura Story, but he wrote it. And so I grew up around, entrepreneurs and people that were very inspiring, and grew up watching my grandmother paint on an easel, and there'd be paint on the floor all over the place. And I loved it. And so I would draw all over everything. And it just was something that I just did my entire life. And then I got in trouble for it. And then it turned into a stage in life where I had to take a leap of faith. I thought I was going to go into the construction industry because I grew up learning how to frame and stuff like that, and learning how to do everything under the sun when it comes to construction. I was incredibly good at it, but, God had another plan. And, I think that, God has used me in many ways, but through my art, it's being able to get out and get into different communities where there's all different types of people that you can sit down and talk about God with them. And, God's an artist. You look at everything in this world that is beautiful and holy, it's created by him, and, it's kind of like a thing of like, I don't really know how I got into it. It's just, I guess God just instilled it into me and gave me that gift, but I'll say this about this piece right here. It's this mural, it has a lot of meaning, and it gets really, really deep. A lot of people might think it means one thing, and some people might think it means another, but it from the start, the owner, like these guys, they own like chains of like tobacco shops and convenience stores and all kinds of stuff, and they always call me to do their stuff. But this guy called me and he was like, "Hey, I have this wall here. It's in Andrews, South Carolina, and we wanna do something that is huge." And when he told me 100 foot, I was like, "Oh well, this can't just be something cool. This has got to be something like meaningful." You know what I mean?
Right.
So where did your research start?
Right in Andrews. First thing I looked up was what is the town of Andrews, South Carolina known for? I knew it was close to Georgetown, but Georgetown's Georgetown. Andrews is something.
Wait a minute, Mr. Adams.
That's right.
Wait a minute. So you telling me that the town of Andrews didn't commission you to do this?
No.
And I'm being sarcastic, obviously. I'm just clearing some things up here.
Yeah.
But,
no.
So you started with the history of Andrews, the actual history of Andrews, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
So, these guys reached out to me and they were like, "We want to do something cool," like they were asking me to do like Bob Marley and like, smoking and stuff like that. And then I was like, let's do something more meaningful. And the owner, he was like, "You know what? You're absolutely right. Let's do something for the town." And so I started looking into Andrews and started coordinating with him and what the town was founded on. So like I saw a comment of like, "Can somebody explain who the two people on the left are of the train?" Well, Actually, the two people on the left and the guy that's smoking the cigar, those are actually representatives of like people back in the day that, you know, helped found the town through the railroad
Absolutely.
and the lumber mills.
Absolutely.
You know, so like if you look at the one guy, he's got the pipe in his mouth, he's carrying a 2x4, and the train's coming in the middle of them. You know, it's an example of there's two sides. You have the railroad and the lumber mills, and but so that goes back to like those are the people that were coming out of that town and what they were doing, and something that was, you know, meaningful and helped build the structure from the ground up. And then, you know, I put Chris Rock and Chubby Checker, and because it, you know, it says on Google, it says that they're from there. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, hey, they're from this area, but it's not even about them. It's about that a town like that, small, that not everybody knows about, that somebody can come out of a place like that and do so much in the world and succeed and build generational wealth through their families, and that they can do something great. So it's to say that even though you're from there, and, you know, some people might think, oh, I live in a small town, there's nothing to do here, blah, 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 blah. You can come from right there and you can turn something from nothing into, something from nothing into many, many things and accomplish great things. So it's a motivational piece, and it's something that hits the heart, you know, and it's I feel like it hits the soul a little bit, you know, and I went even deeper with that, but I'll let you ask some questions.
Dude, I appreciate the fact that and just looking at the piece, you know what I mean? I could see, you know what I mean? Because I'm into the history of the town. A lot of the people that were critiquing you don't even understand or don't even know the history of the town, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to say, as a member of that community, thank you for standing there when somebody wanted to. And again, I'm a big fan of Bob Marley and don't have a problem with Bob Marley, but Bob Marley has no connection with Andrews, South Carolina. So
yeah, absolutely.
I want to give you a big thank you for thinking of us and saying, you know, nah, as an artist, you know, because you could have took the check and just, you know, had them boys on there blowing it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So well, that's not what God had planned. You know what I mean?
Man, right. That's what I'm talking about.
God's bigger than that. You know.
That's right. So. Well, you know, as we talk, and it is a gift, as you alluded to, it's a gift at what you have, and anytime there's a gift, God is going to work through you to do what He need to be communicated to His people. And those, you know, those who can't see the value, and we don't want to harp on that. What we want to talk about is what it, you know, the value of this.
Period. That's value.
That's it. Thank you.
You know, that's what we should. That's what the conversation should be about. What you have is the owner of, and he's not just the owner of this building. This man came in and bought that entire block, and is doing something with it. Yeah. Okay, so he's not from here. Then we have you, Mr. Adams. You're not from here. You're close by, but you're not from here. Then you came in and created something, again using your gift. Created something that is, you know, what this town is basically founded on. Because when you talk about mills, you know, my grandfather and many others worked at Beale Mill. You know, a lot of folks don't know. You know, younger than I am, don't know what Beale Mill is. Now it's a baseball field that's out there, or you know, and then and the railroad, that's obvious because it's still very active, sometimes too active. That brought a lot of people here. And then the logging company, which the logging business is one of, it has been, I think, like the fourth largest employer, economic driver in this county,
region,
in this region, basically.
The first mayor of Andrews, who was W.H. Andrews, which the bridge going to Jamestown is named after. That's what brought him to this area. Wow. He was you know, in the log and timber industry, came from up north, and you know, and it's just that whole history, like the railroad, like you said, even, you know, because the railroad used to go east-west out of Andrews, you know, going through Trial right down was Martin Luther King Drive, you know, straight out. But
I mean, still, I think unless something has changed, it's still that stretch which used to be called Lanes Highway. The section of it right now in St. Andrews is MLK Drive, but it's the longest, straightest road. I think it's 20 miles long. I think in the country, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
In the country, 20 miles long. You will not have a turn or any deviation, and if you look closely to the part of it in Andrews, you'll still see some of the tracks. So we have a segment of our railroad bed park. That's what it's called. That's the name of railroad bed. So it's significance to this town, and it's just brilliant that you were able, again, not being from here, to spend the time to capture the essence of Andrews, South Carolina. Yeah. This conversation is being had across the country because, of course, these are not the only men that have gone abroad and done great things. We've got people that are CEOs in major companies, presidents of this. So we have to talk about that. We have to capture Andrews' history beyond this point. I think this is a great start. And as I expressed to you face to face, I'm ecstatic about it. I'm happy that you did this because, again, as Jamal said, we didn't have anything to do with it. It's not like, hey, this is what we want. Yeah. No, it's strangers that came into our town, invested their time and their resources
to beautify the town.
Yeah, something people can enjoy too, and you have people that are from small towns all over this country, right? And have so many talents and that are hidden. And, they go into one job and they go into another. And it's something that they don't think is an option. But the thing that needs to be made known is that their talent and their gift is an option, because God gave it to them for a reason. And so it's for somebody to see that and be like, wow, how did that person get to the opportunity to be able to even do this? So it makes them work their mind and figure out, well, how can I have that opportunity? So young artists and, younger kids, it's great for them, and I think that, you get something like that, and then you can get other people, to do stuff within the town, to build from the ground up. And it's just, I don't know, it's so powerful because that's how I was inspired, was by seeing other people do stuff, and
I'll tell you this, from the position I currently hold, I get the opportunity to travel abroad to other places in the state and beyond. And I will tell you, art is the engine that changes an entire community. And if folks not paying attention to down in Lake City, you and I talked briefly about that. And it brings people in. People love this stuff. In fact, as I told you, Mr. Crop, it's a young man named Crop, right here from Andrews, is an artist with Disney. Yeah. And so we would love to bring, him to come back and do something that, again, that highlights, the history of Andrews, something. And I know we'll get that happening, but you've started something here that's I think it's going to catch. And I know you already have another gig here in town in January.
Absolutely.
That you're going to be doing some work. And I'm almost certain that you're going to be called upon to do other work in the town. And folks need to understand, it's not this is not graffiti. This is art. Yeah. And it's changed things. In Greenville, I was just in Greenville this past summer. And so a part of when we go to these places, we get, they'll take those who sign up to go for a little tour in the city, and big city Greenville. I mean, one of, another fast growing city in the United States. They are using the same thing. As successful as they have been.
Columbia redesigned they shifted everything from 5 Point's still doing his thing, but then the area, what's the new area right there? Gervais.
I don't know Columbia that
not Assembly. Is it Assembly?
Yeah, but it's where they got all the restaurants, but yes. A big part of that landscape is art, is murals, is just different art, and it's just it's the art, man. Like so when you were doing this piece, was there a point where you were like, oh, this is going not cause controversy, but this is going to spark a conversation? Did you think that it was going the Vista? Thank you. Down in the Vista, that's the area. That's the area in Colombia I'm talking about.
That's right.
But did you, at a point, think that you created a piece that would spark this kind? Because I mean, that's an artist's dream, right? To call, to.
I wouldn't say, like, for me as an artist, I wouldn't say it's my dream to cause controversy. Many artists it is, like artists like Banksy. He's done that like crazy amounts of times. But, for me, art and painting is just worship. I sit there, I was telling Frank this, like, I painted for 22 hours straight one time.
Oy.
And I had a 15-minute break. I walked across the street, I got Wendy's, I came back, and I got right back to it. And, the whole time I just want to lay down and, call it quit. But, like, the whole time that I'm painting, I'm thinking about the Lord. I'm thinking about when the Lord was on that cross and what he did for us, because, like, I'm like, that gum, if I quit, then, like, I'm weak and I'm not having faith, So, like, I don't even think about the controversy at. If it causes it, it causes it. But, because in like the depth of it, like, I didn't really do something in Andrews. God is doing something. You know what I mean? So I know it's like, oh yeah, you did it. But, like, I'm very, 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 like, strong in my faith. And God works in many ways. God works in all ways. He works on his own time and in his own ways. And so I think that God is working in Andrews. I don't think that, I'm doing it because, like, for example, I'm coming back to Andrews. I'm only coming back because God is bringing me back, and I'm coming to paint the Lord's face in Andrews. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect the controversy, especially as I was painting, because the amount of love that is in that town is insane. I had so many people stop. I've painted in a lot of different states and a lot of different towns, but I have never had that many people come and stop by and show the support. Like, one of the ladies, she brought me a Little Caesars pizza. People came by and I prayed with them. This was at like 10 o'clock at night. We all prayed together, and then, we prayed, Frank, and there was other people that are like, do you need anything? We'll bring you some food. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And, like, people come and take pictures and stuff and, tell me, like, you're so good. You're so good. You're so talented. God has gifted you with this talent. Like, I've never seen that many people have so much love and support, for somebody they don't even know.
Well,
you know what I mean? So
you know where you belong at, right?
I like, when I was leaving the town, okay? And I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, I moved from North Myrtle Beach all the way up here to Atlanta. And because, like, I felt like God was pulling me here. But, like, I really know that God has pulled me there to do, certain things, do his work. And, I was like, dang, maybe God's calling me to move to Andrews.
I ain't gonna speak for the big man, but
who knows?
Sound like it to me.
Who knows? I do love the small town. I moved here for the industry, but I did have that thought, so I just did want to say that, and I don't know. I love Andrews. I've been through Andrews many times before, traveling and stuff, and especially growing up in North Myrtle Beach, not that far. I bought a dirt bike from a guy in Andrews, South Carolina. It was the best dirt bike I ever had.
Hey, you got
all these positive experiences here. Hey, look like the numbers are going up from 2575 to 2576. Hey, look, and he doesn't travel alone. So his mother was there with him the night when we first met. And you're talking about a proud parent. And it was right out there with him. And it was a little chilly that night. They all wrapped up, but he was still getting after. Like you said, I think you did this in less than 3 days. And what is the dimensions of this work?
It's 100 foot by 12.
And if it doesn't give away if it doesn't give away too much, what material do you use to do this type of work? Is it consistent, or you varies depending on your work?
It's actually very consistent. This is what I use. It's called Montana 94. It's spray paint. So it's, it's made for people, like the company started making it for, people overseas and like all over the world for people doing graffiti. And, but, I use it to do street art and to do murals and stuff. It's a low pressure can. So like with spray paint, you have high pressure and low pressure. So it's coming out faster and it's coming out slower. So this can comes out a lot slower. So you can do all like really fine lines, and you have certain tips that you change for different sizes. You can make it come out this big, or you can make it come out as thin as, a Sharpie. Mm-hmm. And but you really have to know the control of it. But I use this consistently, and they have another product that is water-based, and it's for indoor use, and you can't even smell it. So I use that. And then whenever I do certain stuff with a brush, I use sometimes acrylic paint, like I do custom canvases and stuff, and certain businesses I'll use house paint because it looks better on the wall, it lasts better, and like this stuff, it has like UV resistance, and like it has the ratings for that, and it has primer in it, and it's a very, very durable product. So yeah, I use that on a consistent basis. But I do want to say I do travel alone, but in this situation, I didn't get enough black paint to do the outlines and stuff. I didn't order enough. So the only person I had to call was my mom, and she was in North Myrtle Beach, and she was like, I'm on the way. And I had to call like 4 different places, and she got this product. I bought out all of their paint at the Hobby Lobby in North Myrtle Beach. It's called Iron Lac. So it's kind of similar to this, but it's, it's a different brand from a different country. And this stuff comes from California. You can't just go buy it everywhere, So, sometimes Michael's will have it, but yeah, my madre came in and she saved the day, that's for sure. But it's
that's what moms do, man. That's what they do. That's why
a lot of the times when I'm traveling, I like it's lonely, that's for sure, but that's my time with God, one-on-one time with God. It's very important to have communion, with the Lord, but that one-on-one time is, very, very important too. And so that provides me to be able to do that. And, I love it. I've slept in my truck, hidden underneath canvases and material and stuff in the middle of crazy spots. I've slept inside stores. I've slept, in some crazy places, and but
hey guys, listen, y'all make sure y'all go over and follow Dominic on Facebook under his name. It's just like his name spelled right there. Let me put it up bigger on the screen here. Go over and follow him on Facebook. I'm loading up some of your artwork. Where are some of the places that that your art has taken you to?
I went there for this guy. His name was Mo, and he had a tobacco shop too. I painted Muhammad Ali. I painted Snoop Dogg. I painted Bob Marley. I painted Jimi Hendrix.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
Yeah. I've been to, Florence, South Carolina. I've been to Wilson, North Carolina, Lake Wales, Florida. I've been here to Atlanta a couple times. I recently painted a wall for this company called TE Certified. They're a HVAC and plumbing and electrical company, and we did the whole face of the building. It was 25 feet high. I did some guys working on a guy working on like a furnace, another guy like working on some plumbing, and another guy like pulling some wire, and it was like built into their design and their logo and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm bigger on Instagram. I'm more consistent on Instagram. I need to be more consistent on Facebook, but especially with the amount of people that's commented on this and it's how much it's spread. I counted it up last night. It was like 172 shares on this wall and 404 comments. Yeah, there's my madre. She's talented too. She can paint, and she's like, "Oh, I'm old." That's what she always says. But if you teach her how to do something, she can do it like that. It's
if I recall correctly, I think she said you were about 4 or 5 when you started to just express your talent during that time. And did you get in trouble? Did you paint up the walls in the house?
Well, so seeing my grandmother do it, my mom's mom, and seeing everybody else do it, I just caught on to it where I just draw on paper and stuff, and started out drawing 3D letters. And I did this painting. Like I saw this thing where this guy was like taking pictures and taking cups and putting them on it and turning it into space and stuff like that. And I just found this piece of wood that was just left in this pile of, cut up bushes and stuff. And it was at the bottom. So I grabbed it and I dragged it from like down the street up to our like side yard. And I just I painted like a little silhouette of a beach scene. And I did, that's the old one right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Adam's Customs now.
Okay. Let me
but yeah, like if you want to see it on Instagram, it's Adam's Customs _, and I'm very persistent on there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I did that little scenery, and then it just led to me doing more canvases, and then I started watching YouTube as I got older when I was like 10, and I was watching people do graffiti, and that's how I got introduced to like the caps and stuff. And I went around sneaking out of the house doing it. And then one night, me and my dad were at the house. My dad made some banging food, and I went in my room and I was drawing. And my dad comes in my room. He's like, Dominic, come here, come to the front door. And I was like, okay. So I went to the front door, and the cops were at the door. And they're like, do you know why we're here? And I was like, I think so. And so they, asked me about what I did. And then, I had to go and I cleaned it up. They asked me if I was prepared to jail. And I was like, no. And, I never did it again. And so I stopped doing it for a little while. And then, one day I was just at home and I was just praying. And, I went and bought a canvas, and I just started it back, and it just, I don't know. I just gave everything to God,
It's your purpose, my friend. It's your purpose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. And so we're looking forward to seeing you coming back. And I don't know if you're going to be back for the ribbon cutting for the building that's being prepared now. But I want to give Scott. I'm sorry.
When is that?
I'm not sure. Sam hasn't said it yet, but I definitely want to give Sam, who is the owner of that entire block, a big shout out for, again, taking a chance here with us here in Andrews, bringing this business here, bringing this resources, and then bringing this talented young man with him to capture the essence of who we are. We appreciate him, and again, there are far more positive comments, and it certainly will be, in terms of the outcome than there were negative. And I think, again, when you don't folks don't fully understand what's going on, then they'll have questions. Unfortunately, we ask a lot of those questions on social media that kind of takes off in a direction that is not a part of the intended purpose. So you stay strong, keep doing what you're doing, because you're changing lives across this country, my friend, and certainly here in small town Andrews. So we'll appreciate what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and I love what you're doing too. Keep doing it, and keep letting God use you to do His work. Amen.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. So, guys, make sure you go and follow him on Instagram. You see it right there, Adams Customs. Okay, go over there and see the follow. You see Mayor McClary's already followed. I followed. So
That's awesome.
Hey,
over there. And,
are there any questions out there for him, Jamal?
Yeah. Let's Adam, because that was Dominic. That was the thing. Like, so anybody sitting in the comment section, in the chat, that have any questions for Adam about the art, about if anything that we didn't cover that you still want to know, please get in the comment section and ask your questions, because again, like the mayor said, it kind of went crazy. It just went like I was tracking
I didn't expect it to go.
Yeah, I was tracking it, and I was like, okay, but
and I can tell it caught him by surprise, but he gave me a call earlier this morning. I was off at a conference, and he just wanted to make sure that I was aware it was out there. And I said, yeah, I don't, in this business, if you get caught up on reading a lot of things that, people just have this, opinion about things, then you won't ever get anything done. And sometimes there's something to draw from it. We just don't completely write it off. But again, we take opportunities like this to help shine light on what the real intent and purpose behind whatever it is. In this case, is obviously, this mural, and understanding, so we'll talk, Jamal and I talk a little bit more about, owners, decision to do what they need to do with their own property. But we wanted tonight to be focused on this amazing work and this amazing young man, and then what it does on the positive side for not just a small community. As I mentioned, Greenville and others are doing the same thing, and it brings people, and what it does in terms of economic driver. You may not realize that, but this thing brings people in. And you mentioned it earlier, Dominic, that people were coming up when I was standing there talking to you. People were just coming up and taking pictures, sharing their story with their relationship to either the two famous faces, or to or about the railroad and what it meant, what it meant to their families, because this was this provided an income, and their way to make a living, and it's all captured right here in this 100 by, how tall is it?
12 foot.
12 foot, caption of the town. And so we appreciate that, man. And I hope, I know it's a little bit late, but what I would like to, for our young kids who aspire to be an artist or trying to do their own thing, to follow this young man, talk to him, reach out to him, and learn something about it. We didn't talk about it. Did you have any formal training or education in this business, or just the gift just kept giving?
I failed art in 9th grade.
Michael Jordan the art.
Hey, Michael Jordan right there. He's the goat.
Yeah, I didn't like to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Too confining.
I didn't like to be confined to a certain rule of art, because art has no limits, No. So like, I already knew how to do what we were being taught, so I just would try and do other things. So that's why I failed, But one thing I do want to say too, about to blow everybody away, is I have a color deficiency, a duottan color deficiency. And it's actually really common in most males. But yeah, so I don't see color the same way as most people do. My wife has to pick out all the colors with me whenever I order. So I draw it out, digitally, as if it's already there. And then when I go to order the colors, it's got to be picked out by my wife, not me, because if I did it, then it would probably look horrible. But so I have to read the lid to be able to see the color. So yeah, I'm slightly colorblind.
Oh wow.
So also the last thing I want to say, because I don't want to hold y'all up.
No, we're good,
bro. You good? You
good.
See? Look, Dominic. You see, you got Miss Maddie Rivers in here on here commenting, bro. That's one of our elder citizens, and you passed the test, bro. With the art, you inspire. That's what art's supposed to do. It's supposed to inspire.
Thank you. But like I was gonna say, the gold in the picture, me and the owner, we fought on that gold being in that picture. But I fought so hard for that gold to be in there because that is the color of the high schools. That is the high school's color.
Man, let me get these bombs. Let me get these bombs ready here. Hold on a second.
It's psychology, and and the attention and what it can bring, and the emotion that color brings out in people is like it's amazing. And so I was like, we gotta have it. I even had to have other guys talk to him about making sure that we had the gold. So
so that was the purpose of your comment when I came. I was wearing my yellow jackets. Yellow jacket. Yeah. Okay. So
I was like, you see the color.
So Adam, I keep calling you Adam, calling you by your last name. Dominic, you just became a 5-bomb general, man. I'm gonna have to go ahead and bring the bombs back out. The bombs ain't been out in a minute, man. So you just became a 5-bomb general in Andrews, South Carolina, on the podcast. We're at number 3 right now. Again, y'all make sure y'all go over and follow this man on Instagram. And for those of you who wanted him to paint specific pictures, you can go over there and hire him, and he'll come to your house for a fee, and he will paint the pictures. There's that 5th bomb for you, sir. Welcome to the Welcome to Andrews Podcast Army. You are now a 5-bomb general.
That's awesome. I think it's awesome what you guys are doing here. I think that it's inspiring to other people, and especially when you guys are reaching out to hear other people's story. That's God using y'all to, affect other people by other people to affect more, and so it's just awesome. And I want to say this, because obviously you guys are doing it, but if there's anything that you want to do in life and that you're passionate about, don't listen to the people that are saying that you can't do it. Everything starts with a what if. When somebody said building the Eiffel Tower, there was a what if. So Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. He is the vessel. And if you are blessed with it and you want to accomplish it, the only one stopping you is yourself.
Amen.
And God bless all of y'all.
We appreciate you, my man. And again, as Miss Peggy said, God bless you as you travel across the country, again, blessing others. And we certainly look forward to seeing you when you come back. Can't even express, what this not just this painting, again, meeting you and hearing your story and just realizing as we learn more about you, a man's colorblind. Look at all the color in this thing. It's really a heartwarming, man, to know you, see your work, and to call you a friend. So we appreciate you and be blessed. We'll be in touch.
All right. See y'all soon. God bless y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's a big deal, man.
That's good stuff right there, sir.
Yeah, that yanks on your heartstring a little bit. Man, that's pretty wild.
Listen, man, that again, I just the fact that here's a stranger coming into town and has the enough integrity about himself, because he could have just painted anything that man wanted him to paint on the wall and just walked away with it. You know what I mean? Right. And but he did something that again he put some thought into it, which is he's an artist, so that's to be expected. So again, one more time, y'all make sure y'all go and follow this guy on Instagram. You know what I mean? We need to get his. We can go ahead and get his followers up. We need to help him get his followers up because.
And I just encourage everybody, that's listening tonight or go, through this work, is to find the positive, because that's what it is. And I believe, as he's clearly articulated, this is God working through him, through his talents. He gave him the talents. Then it's for him to be here, for this owner to come buy this thing in this town. It could have been anywhere. And so we need to really, step back and think about, is this something we can rally around and have a conversation, not the painting, but it gives you something, a conversation piece, because you see where the dirt is now, that's all going to be paved, and talking to the owner, and it's going to be a beautiful area when he's done with it. So as you're coming into Andrews, traveling east to west, you will be able to see that as you pass Exxon and Burger King, and so it's something that will warm the hearts, I think, of people coming through, or at least get them to stop. You get people to stop, then they're going to shop, and so it's all tied together, I think, for a much bigger purpose than what we can see by not having the vision that this young man have. And so let's do that. That's what we owe that to ourselves, to the community, and to this man, these men who came and blessed our town. So that's my hope and my request to all that's listening.
No doubt, man. And tomorrow, listen, guys, make sure you go out right now, because again, this is a big conversation that needs to happen at a lot of households tomorrow. You know what I mean? After the game, before the game, this needs to this conversation. And don't take but one of you to start the conversation.
That's right.
And this book will be a good template for you to go ahead and get that conversation and get moving in the right direction. Of course, we're gonna have Dr. Williams back on next week. You know what I mean, to further this conversation, because it's a lot to take in just in one sitting. So yeah, we're gonna just like my man Freddie Brown say, tell it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? And
that's what Freddie said.
Yeah, no doubt. But it has to happen that way, because like Doc
right.
said, sometimes if we think it's too complicated, we'll stay away from it.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. This deserves its own segment, and we need to have a conversation. And I wasn't trying to take her off a message in terms of who this should be targeted, but she's right. There's a huge gap in the African American community with these kind of things that we talked about tonight. But if the conversation was broadly had, you'll see that it's impact across the way, across everybody, regardless of community, your ethnicity, whatever the case may be. We just don't like to plan for death. Life after, and we don't think about it. And so it's time. And
Well, go ahead. To you, I'm reading the comment here. Veronica got up here, and Veronica, to your point, to just so it's just not that we're saying that. What I want you guys to take a look at right now is what Veronica is talking about, the great things that are happening in Andrews, and so I want you guys to take notice of this timeline right here. Let me get this off the screen here for a second. But here, guys, you're looking at a detailed chart because, again, when Burger King announced that they were shutting down, people had a lot to say about Andrews. But here's what the facts are, right? Here's what the facts are. Community activities, you can go down. The Heritage Festival, we just did that. Makers on Main Street, got that night Christmas parade. It's just a lot of different things. And I mean, you want to talk about the businesses, just look at this column to the right over here. Okay. So whenever somebody, and I guess my point in putting this up right here, this is what I call a scoreboard point. See, I don't have a problem pointing to the school board, right? Because the work is being done, especially when you can criticize and when people criticize and get online on Facebook and say, "Oh, it's just so bad. It's just so bad," without taking into account what the facts are right here. Okay.
Yeah, that's well over 30 businesses, and what's not up here, an oversight is our new Mexican restaurant, Pueblo Chico, if I've pronounced that correctly, and some of the best food, man. You there's no place to park on Main Street when they're open and serving, and so I have a date with Miss Veronica up there to go for one of the margaritas. Yeah, I got to go have a margarita with her because I'm learning now. I'm out of the cool man, the cool kids club, because they go there and so it's happening. You can't it's not going to turn overnight, but I will tell you that if the locals that are here, sleep on this thing, you're going to have more people coming in and taking advantage of the opportunities, and then we're going to fall short if we don't see what's happening. And
again, like you said, see what's happening, being able to see the forest, seeing able to see the trees, not blinded by the forest, because these people that are coming here, these aren't slow people. These are business people.
Yes.
So they've done research. They've done market research. You think they're just going to come and pop in Andrews just to lose money? And if they do, you see what happened with Burger King. But the point is, these people are coming, planting their feet in Andrews, and it's the ones who, if you don't get with what's going on, you will look up one day and it's going to be totally different, and you're not going to be a part of it.
And the truth be told, the rest of the story, I should say, is that there were multiple in this franchise that closed down, not just Andrews. And so now I will say too that I think there was some challenges in terms of just keeping up with the demand. But I'm not on the inside. But when when it's sold as opposed to just closing, that means that someone bought this and going to put it to use. And I will tell you that there was a gentleman that was very interested in it immediately when it was announced. He walked over there and said, okay, he wants to buy this place. I'm talking about a legitimate businessman. And they said it's already sold. I don't know what that means. We'll see what comes of it. But we just have to, again, it's important that when we speak about these things, that we've done some research. You remember when CVS closed, there was a whole talk about it was just Andrews. No, it's a chain. These are business decisions.
It's a national thing. Yes.
And we hurt ourselves when we get out on the social media because, future business men and women check out the local social media.
Not only social media, and what's happening again, a lot of these small towns are losing these jobs, right? In these industries because people are not taking it serious. And again, these companies are not going to consistently lose money. So It needs to be a situation in these towns where, look, you better take some pride in these jobs or they won't be there.
They won't be there.
And that means preparing the young person that's in your care, your family, when they go to work, teach them the importance of separating work from fun. Go to work, be serious, be professional, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, workforce and workforce development is we've been pushing the COG through SC Works, Helping Hands. They had a program. I think they still do have a program in preparing the workforce for these jobs that are coming in. And now with the situation at International Paper, you got skilled people who's been working is going to come in and absorb a lot of these things that's been sitting and waiting for those who wasn't working, because you still have to pay these bills. Things still have to happen. So now so it's a lot going on. Waiting for someone else to do it for you is not the answer, is what I'm trying to say. A part of this message. So let's be proactive, take the initiative to get out here and do things. Let's be a little bit more positive about what's going on and around it. If you don't know, it's okay to, to sit on the sideline and just read the comments. But when you get out here expressing, you listen to someone else, then once the truth or the rest of the story comes out, then, it's not going to look good on you because you've left your digital print out there on social media for everybody to read and say, well, who is this person?
For me to screenshot.
Screenshot it.
Oh yeah.
It was a simple Google, and you would have known the rest of the story behind, in this case, Burger King or whatever. But just like, with Mr. Adam, even with the negative, you take the positive and you keep doing what you were set here to do. Don't let that deter you. So it's all good stuff, man. I don't want to part of, and I think you may have this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Andrew's comprehensive plan to survey that whole 9 yards. This is an effort. I don't know if we've given you that or not, but we need to talk about that a little bit more. This is an opportunity for the community to have input into this comprehensive plan that we're focusing on as far out as 2045. But on the 12th at I think it's 5 to 6:30, this is your opportunity to drop in and speak with these consultants that we've hired to develop this plan again for the town and how we were going to develop in all facets of it. We're talking about everything associated with a town, small or large. What do you want your town to look like? What do you want? And so this is an opportunity for us to chime in. And there's a survey that's out there.
Do you have that up on the town's page?
Yes, all of these things are on the town page. We have the even the app that you can download on your phone and get information. And we don't it's not being used enough. So we got to continue to talk about it until it becomes
and absolutely. And that's on us. Me over here. I'm with you.
Yeah. So then you have this comprehensive plan that is will incorporate all of the things we kind of laid out in the visioning plan. So now all of this is coming together to be fully developed and laid out with funding, possible funding sources or resources, and all this kind of thing that tells you. So when we all move on to do something else, you have a plan that can be picked up and continue to develop the town. And if this town is developing into something that you're not, that you didn't want, then you can hold yourself accountable if you didn't provide input. And
that goes back to like the first time you had the what's that, Muldrow and Associates, what was the name of that company that came down?
Arnett Muldrow.
And so what we're talking about is these people, these agents. Like, you don't grow a town just sitting around at a fish fry. You plan these things out far in advance. And this is a part of the conversation that for so long, people that look like us haven't been included in this part of the conversation. But here's a situation where you're included in the conversation, and send that to me, Veronica.
And of course, this is the visioning plan that we've been talking about for the longest. That's still out there. So what's happening, how this thing works, the purpose thing. So there's others are listening to it, and so they see that there's a little over $4 million in dining, and the opportunity for 2 to 4 more restaurants based on the amount of money that we're spending somewhere else. So we'll go out and dine, but that money is leaving the town of Andrews. So now, again, they see these numbers. We've done some of the analysis, the market analysis for them, and they say, hey, it's about making money and providing service to the community. So that's why these folks are showing up, where we have it right here in front of us, and we're not paying attention, or we just disregarding and think it's some political ploy. But no, that's not why we're here. We're here to grow our town, make it welcoming to others, and we would like for a lot of our talent that goes abroad to stay home and help us continue to grow Andrews. And that's what this thing is all about. Okay, so we have that, and I encourage people to go out. I also like to mention the fact, again, we certainly wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. The Christmas parade will be on the 8th of December, 5:30. This is going to be a night parade. So let's light it up, get lights out there on your floats and all that business and that, because we had a touch of it last year. Not by design.
You oughta go ahead and order those battery operated lights. We put the Pestmobile in there.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity. So that'll be on the 8th of December, 5:30. Lineup I think is at 4:30. But just again, go to the website. That everybody wanted a website. We have one now. We even
I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that, right? Because the people over at Andrews SC News, that they was on y'all ass about a website. A website. They better be promoting that website over there.
So the website is up. It's been up for a long time now, and have all of the, all things that we do here has to be public, whether it's the budget, whether it's all of the ordinance, which is going to be another conversation. We start talking about ordinance and people following and staying in line with those things, but it's all out there. Okay. So the information is at your fingertips. Okay.
We got a question there.
Vacant buildings on Main Street in Andrews. Will the owner have to fix them up? I know I don't live there. Yes. There's an ordinance that's driving this now. They have to do something with an owner. There will be a fine associated with that. It's happening. And again, thanks for the question, Ms. Brenda. But big shout out to our code enforcer for again holding our not just the commercial business, but our residents, all of us who have to keep our property clean and free of all those things that will lessen the value of your home and just create an eyesore. So that's been happening. We I think all except one building I think left on Main that requires some attention. That's being addressed, but many of them have come down, and not just down. The people are doing something with them. So just like this gentleman has purchased the block over there across from a Party Shop, the other section over here just west of Beach, from Beach to Poplar, has been purchased already. So that owner is going through, deciding on what he's going to build there. So it's happening. But yes, there's safety concerns with some of the few of the buildings on Main Street, and so that's being enforced. We have a contract consultant, which is Safe Built out of Myrtle Beach, and they are the organization that helps us enforce codes, building codes, and those kind of things to make sure that they are when you change use. So if you go from a boutique to something else that is not in line, that is different, you got to go through the process of redesigning it. That is a formal process. You just can't walk into these buildings now and just do what you want to do. Those days are over, because again, as a local government, we're responsible for the safety of the people, and we got to ensure that the owners are in compliance to make sure that these facilities are safe for people to go in. So again, shout out to Ms. Joyce and the work that she's doing on the ground and making sure that's happening. And so that's So to your question, Ms. Brennan, again, they have to. We didn't do a good job over the years of enforcing that, but from the painting, the whole 9 yards, and out of this comprehensive plan is going to come. Part of that is going to be a color scheme that we're going to offer up to the business owners to make sure that when it's not painting, doing things just to be doing it, it really makes sense. And so I encourage folks again to provide your input through the survey, again, so you can be a part of this development.
And there it is, guys. Y'all make sure y'all go and download the app, right? But you can download the app through the website. And there it is right there, the www.townofandrews.sc.gov. Go over there and let's make use of this website. Again, it was a big, we don't have a website. We don't have a website. Well, we got a website. So let's get over there and make use of it. Ladies and gentlemen, town, of course, Thanksgiving town offices will be closed. Will you be reopening Saturday?
No.
Friday?
No. So we will. It will be a half day scheduled tomorrow.
Okay.
So folks can get home and start to cook these turkeys or whatever else they're going to prepare, and we will back on normal business hours on Monday. So we again, we want to wish everybody certainly a very happy Thanksgiving, and be safe out there. A lot of folks, I think this is one of the busiest travel times. So a lot of people moving about. Let's get on the road a little early. Same old safety speech we were giving the military. Everybody got to come into formation and get this safety speech from the commander. But it's really important because it helps you focus on preparing to drive long distance, that kind of business. So owners of the property as well as the renters are responsible for contacting, I should say, the town hall prior to occupying any space to ensure that they are in compliance with all things. And that is absolutely right. So take a picture of this mess right here, because so the person who is renting the place only is concerned about renting it.
Rent.
We are responsible for ensuring that whatever business you put in there is safe. That is in compliance with all building codes, the international building codes that we use to ensure that all these things are happening. So
I can't open a strip club on Main Street?
No. Well, you can't. In fact, here's why. It's about 3 years ago. The rumor hit the social media that there was an adult club was coming to the town of Andrews. So everybody got really excited about it.
We need that.
You can you can imagine the number of phone calls I got in inboxes like, how in the world are you going to allow this to happen? Well, if you don't have any ordinances in place, then a business owner could almost do what they want to. So of course, we do have one, we established one. And so, because we have 24 churches in this town, so in schools, we have 4 schools, and we have to again, make sure that what's coming here is in good, in good taste. And so we have boundaries. You can't deny them, but again, you put in these limitations, and then it'll take care of the matter. And that didn't happen. I'm not sure that it was a real. It was actually going to, that someone was trying to do that, but no, we're not going to let adult, club come to the town of Andrews. And frankly, we're at our max with some of these other, after hour businesses as well. So and I said this before, I think it was maybe last week. I think some of the folks from the outside, because they see that we have this big festival, and we like to have a good time because it brings people out to socialize. But Andrews is not designated as the party town. So we're not going to do that. I
mean, we are kind of the party town, but we do it legally. I mean, you got to do it well within the boundaries of the law.
Yeah, we have to do that. We got to follow that. So code and compliance, business license, certificate of occupancy, or just a few checks, list items to be sure that you have in order. Yes, I spent some time tonight going through that and speaking with with Safe Built, and we've learned some things. We're dealing with a situation right now, and we'll have that conversation at the appropriate time to ensure that, again, that anyone that's interested in bringing a business here, you have to be in compliance. And in this case, it's never okay to try to, ask for forgiveness after you've done what you thought that you needed to do, because you have just wasted your resources. you wasted your money, your time, and it's not going to be a positive outcome if you don't follow the rules up front.
Yeah, no, stop trying to sneak in through the side door. Come to the front door, ring the doorbell, come on in, and do what you're supposed to do, and you can make a lot of money in Andrews, South Carolina. But
you have to do it right.
These pirated places, and it's not, it's not fair to somebody that goes through the whole process of getting license, insurance, and doing all this, checking off the boxes, only to have a spot right down the street, not adhering to these rules. It's not fair. It's just not fair. It's not fair.
No, it's not. And again, we'll and I hope no one out there feels that they're being slighted or discriminated against because it's applied to everyone that's coming in here, all of us, all of our guests, and all of that information you see that it's wasn't posted is on the website. Can I open up my church?
we buy that capacity on that. No.
Oh man, leave it to Veronica. Hey, go where God leads you. That's all I can say to you. Nah, but that's we're just trying to get it right. And a lot of times it's the they don't know, but you got to ask the question. If you're in doubt, come see the folks up here, and they'll steer you in the right direction.
But you got to go see the folks up there. Go up there first.
Yes, please. If you don't, it's on the site. But if you don't fully understand what the requirements are, 843-264-8666. Someone is going to answer and help you find the answers to your questions. You have to do that. There's zero tolerance right now for operating outside of the bounds. Because again, we don't want anybody to get hurt. If you get into a place that is not suited for what you're trying to do, and everybody is held responsible: the owner, the renter, and the town. And we just can't take that risk.
In other words, we kind of hot down here right now. You feel what I'm saying? We're trying to keep the heat off us. Carter Weaver to me, trying to, you know what I mean? Hey, listen, so we got to keep things together, man.
Oh man.
Hey, listen, I want to show you guys real fast some more art real fast. My man Jay dropped this in my inbox.
Big shout out to Jay.
Yeah, this
Clean
guy.
feed.
There you go. Hold on a second, my bad. I'm glad you said that. Because that's the first thing he gonna say. Man, you did all that, man. You ain't even run the commercial, man. Why you ain't run the commercial? Here you go, Jay.
Welcome to Clean Feed, your gateway to elevated online events, specializing in multi-camera live streaming production. We redefine online content with superior quality. Elevate your online events with Clean Feed and stand out in a world of high-quality production. Join us for a seamless blend of technology and creativity. Clean Feed, high-quality streaming.
There, this guy's Clean Feed.
Who's the voice behind that? That was.
That would sound like James Earl Jones Jr. or something.
There's some work going on outside of my knowledge of what's going on here.
Oh man! Oh, let me run.
I gotta let in on the Clean Feed business.
No doubt. This is some work from our guest earlier tonight, Mr. Dominic Adams. Again, this was provided by my man Jay. Went and got that sourced this for me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy is talented is an understatement. You know, this guy is
and colorblind. Can you believe that?
It's crazy, man. How God know how you do it. Like, you know what? I can't let you see the colors, but you'll be able to use them.
Man, I'm telling you, look at this.
Yeah, that's our artists always, like, they freak me out because their brains they don't see the world the way we see the world.
No.
You know, the detail and all that other stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah, this guy is talented, and he's doing it with a dang spray can.
Can you imagine, man?
Man, he could trace it out up there, and I just got to color it in, and it still wouldn't come out right. He could put numbers on that.
Outside the lines.
Oh man,
yes, that's great work, man.
No doubt. All right, so listen, great show tonight. Again, guys, make sure you go and follow our guest who on tonight. Make sure you head over and check out this book. And Mayor, you may so Dr. Williams asked me for your address, so if you order that book, you could just gift it to somebody. But we definitely, she's sending me a copy also, and again, that way we can just kind of just go through.
Yeah, man, we'll have to break it down, have book reviews, to talk about specific topics, so we could focus. We got that, the big picture tonight, but we need to focus on those things that we just need to know more about right now.
Yeah.
You don't control when the end is going to be. You need to be prepared. You can't get ready. You got to be ready.
Yeah, that's that thing. You can't get ready. You want to be again. I had a conversation with a young lady, and she, she was going through it, and she was already saying how 2025 she's changing a lot of different things, and one of the eye opener was burying her brother who was not prepared. Healthy and then gone. So
yeah, man, I know. I'm guilty. There's a lot of work to be done. And so, hey, again, appreciate the time tonight, and for finding Dr. Williams out there and bringing her to the podcast and the Town of Andrews. Again, it's going to be very, very valuable information discussed over the next several weeks, and we'll follow Mr. Dominique Adams. Watch the great work he has going on over there, and just create a community feed sports page. Okay. Hey, these guys need to know now. That guy, Mr. J, is a mastermind behind, live stream. I mean, I don't know if you have the any of the feed from the festival, but we were able to broadcast again through Clean Feed. The joint operation there between Jamal and Jay gave us the opportunity to broadcast the festival across the world. One of our artists is from Kenya. I think it's Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to apologize about my, but his family was able to see him live on stage right here on Main Street. So it's a big deal. We got some folks that you'll be talking to here soon. To solicit your service for some work they have going on.
Yeah, I can't cue it right now.
Can't cue it up?
Lose the feel. No, but definitely. But
it's on your page.
Guys, make sure you go over and check out Clean Feed. The website actually is up. Definitely want to go over and check that out. Where is that at? There it is, right there. www.kleanfeed.com. So, but anyway, hey, great show. I got me some fish thawed out. I'm gonna make me some fried fish here. Have a late fried fish sandwich.
Oh man, it's a little bit too late for me.
Yeah, with some mustard and Texas Pete.
You're getting a hit. That's all we need for Thanksgiving right there. That's a meal.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So you're gonna be on this end, or?
Yeah, well, we headed down to the Somerville area.
Okay.
Family, and but yeah, I'll leave there and I'll come down that way then.
All right, sounds good. So I look forward to seeing everybody at the parade or in the parade. Let's make it big, festive, and we'll have again tree lighting and all those things we traditionally do after the parade. And I want to thank Miss Carla McKenzie, our public works team. They're already putting the lights up on Main Street. The decoration around the pole. Those folks were out there today, and I'll ride through town tonight when I leave here to see how beautiful it is. But Miss Carla and her team is out there as always doing a wonderful job, man, just to bring the town to light during this holiday season. So I'm sure they're looking for volunteers. We still have work to do here on the town hall ground in terms of putting up all those things that'll happen here shortly. But we want you to come out and be a part of all this stuff. Shout out to Ms. Veronica, who's putting together our first Friday food truck event. But more information coming on that. So go ahead, sir.
Yep. That's about all I got. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you share this information out. I know this is a long show, so I'm going to clip out each segment and rerun them. But again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Same to you there, brother Jay at the production warehouse.
Jay.
No doubt. All right. So, but that's it for the site. Just to see if you guys remember the Christmas parade coming up. Peace.